shit.
What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, I don't know. How about everything? Like every single thing possible. Today I brought you a real gem of animated shit. The ꕗubsy cartoon pilot. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, video game mascots began to jump on the Sonic bandwagon, trying to create smart-talking protagonists. And 9 times out of 10, they were horrible. Actually, the only success story I can think of off the top of my head is ꕗx. And that's because his dialogue was written and acted by an actual comedian. The worst of them all, though, had to be ꕗubsy. He had 4 video games, and one of them is often considered to be one of the worst games ever made. But we're not here to talk about that. After all, that's what JonTron is here for. Instead, we're here to talk about the cartoon. Yes, ꕗubsy had a cartoon. Actually, it only had a pilot. Yes, this fascinating piece of shit was so bad that it didn't get picked up for an actual cartoon. In the early 90s, when there was no quality control of kids' cartoons. Yeah, it's that bad. Why is it so bad? Well, for starters, the cartoon never shuts the fuck up. This is a 22-minute cartoon, and there is not 1 second of silence. It doesn't take a moment to rest or breathe. It's just constant noise. And that wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for ꕗubsy's annoying voice.
Come on, snap to, Mr. Basket Case. It's me, the Prince of Personality, ꕗubsy!
His voice is nails on chalkboard grating, and I know it is because they actually use the nails on chalkboard sound effect. Twice! Now let's talk about the running joke.
What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong?
Do you know how many times that line is spoken throughout this 22 minutes? 10 times! They say it 10 times in 22 minutes. That doesn't seem like a lot, but it gets grating very fast. And look, the episode is even titled, What Could Possibly Go Wrong? That's not the only running joke that they abuse. In fact, they've got like 3 jokes that they repeatedly use 20 times. They clearly missed something about running jokes. If it wasn't funny the first time, chances are it's not going to be funny the 50th. You could make it funny by building it up or changing the context. Otherwise, it would get annoying very quickly. Let's begin, shall we?
What could possibly go wrong?
The title sequence shows us what we're in for. Quite clearly, animation on speed that never shuts the fuck up. When ꕗubsy isn't talking, there are obnoxious sound effects in the background. If you don't have any aspirin nearby, you may want to break them out. You'll need them by the time that this is over. The episode begins with ꕗubsy waking up his pet, Arnold the Armadillo, and enter running joke number 2. This armadillo is extremely afraid of getting run over by a truck. And yes, this is played for laughs.
And last year, over 10,000 armadillos were run over by trucks in the state of Texas alone. For many of the poor little fellows, this is the last sound they will ever hear. Oh, the truck! Oh!
That's not funny, you sick fucks. So, you want to know how annoying ꕗubsy's voice is?
I'm your hero, and you're my sidekick. Oh, please. Do we have to go through this every single morning?
Imagine that for 22 minutes. The plot rings the doorbell. ꕗubsy's niece and nephew come over to celebrate their birthday. But our lovable hero can't be bothered to deal with them, and instead wants to watch TV. Yeah, if his voice wasn't bad enough, ꕗubsy is both an asshole and an idiot. The twins are your typical cartoon annoying kids. You know, done as poorly as usual. And just like everything else about this animation, they never shut up. On the television, there's an interview with someone called Professor Virgil. He has created a helmet that turns your imagination into reality. Yes, really.
Invention, if used responsibly, could someday stop war and famine and eventually save the entire planet.
Yes, except no one would ever use that responsibly, or at least selflessly. Admit it. If you had that helmet, you'd probably only use it on yourself.
So far, it's mostly blown up on Virgil's head.
Introducing the second most annoying voice in the animation. So, Professor Virgil needs someone extremely brave, or nuts, in order to test out the helmet. And the perfect candidate just so happens to be ꕗubsy. And he begins to explain his heroism with stock footage. Yes, the animators were too lazy to fill up 22 minutes, so they resorted to using stock footage. That's lazier than reusing your own animation. At least that would show some attempt at quality. You guys did not care in the slightest. ꕗubsy decides to drag his niece and nephew down to Virgil Interactive, and we see our villain. Yes, this has a villain, besides ꕗubsy's stupidity.
If I could get my paws on that helmet, I could finally live the lifestyle that I deserve!
Then go. He was just asking for volunteers. Just go down to the lab and offer to be one. That never occurs to her. Instead, she wants to use her 2 bumbling minions. You ever watch 101 Dalmatians? Yeah, then you know who these 2 are. But in actuality, it's probably ripping off the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. Even the art style seems to be ripping off the adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I shouldn't have to say this, but that's not a good show. Why are you ripping off a not good show? The rat is the stupid one, and the vulture is the not as stupid one. I mean the shrew and the buzzard. Running joke number 3. Also, the shrew is obsessed with food, and that turns out to be his weakness, and would presumably be his weakness in every episode in the alternate universe where this show got picked up. That universe is not a pleasant place. Fire rains down from the sky every Saturday, and bugs the size of potatoes infest every orifice. I'm getting off track. Back to something almost as bad. The villain uses her nails on the chalkboard to get their attention. FYI, sound mixers, that doesn't make Bubsy less annoying. It just makes me hate you even more! So we cut back to Bubsy, who has just arrived at the laboratory. And enter running joke number 4. Whoever the hell that is keeps mistaking Bubsy's name. No, really, I don't know that white cat's name. I don't think they ever say it. Technobabble, and Bubsy tries on the helmet. God, the Virtual Boy looked better than that thing. Virgil instructs Bubsy to be very specific with his thoughts, or else bad things will happen. This backfires once. The first time. Bubsy thinks about flying, and everyone appears in the sky.
Okay, what now, Egghead?
Don't you dare remind me of a quality joke from a quality show ever again. Also, because of this scene, I can no longer even count accuracy in this cartoon's favor. Because in the games, Bubsy had the ability to glide. Yes, really. Arnold gets the helmet and...
Arnold, whatever you do, don't think of the truck!
Quick, don't think about cats!
Long story short, the truck appears.
And in the latest news, an 18-wheeler truck fell from the sky, killing dozens and turning our lovely streets into ruins of what they once were, scattered with charred rubble and twisted metal.
Yeah, no. Actually, they never bring the truck in the sky up again. Bubsy takes the helmet back, teleports them to Virgil Labs, and they have absolutely no explanation of what the hell happened to the truck. Yeah, they just leave a truck floating in the sky. And for some reason, Arnold is still falling when they get back to the lab. Yes, abusing him is a running gag, which I am going to fuse with the truck gag. Virgil tries to scold Bubsy, so Bubsy plays with his suspenders. I don't know. His niece and nephew tell Bubsy that they're bored and want to play with the reality-changing helmet.
What could possibly go wrong?
Bubsy tells them that the helmet is not a toy, tries to place it down, and accidentally places it on one of their heads. And the two of them run outside. The kids start fighting over the helmet, and we cut to the two bumbling idiots. They see the kids and the helmet and decide that they want to eat the kids. It's par for the course of Dark Age cartoons. Here's the thing though, this came out in the goddamn 90s, the Renaissance age of animation. I don't know what they were thinking, there was no way the show would ever catch on. So the niece puts on the helmet.
I win a pony!
Oh my god, is there going to be some semblance of quality in this piece of shit? Is there going to be something I can actually enjoy? Is there going to be something that lets their characters breathe and understands that they can keep kids' attention without constant noise? The niece and nephew keep fighting over the helmet until the buzzard lands in front of them, demanding that they hand the helmet over. All of a sudden, the kids make a roller coaster appear, and after all of this, Bubsy realizes that the helmet is missing and the twins are gone. Yeah, they were presumably just standing around waiting for their cue. And then there's an earthquake. They step outside to find a huge funfair, and they are standing on a roller coaster track. Long story short, the roller coaster runs over the armadillo and goes off, while Virgil complains that the entire world could be destroyed in the blink of an eye. Hey professor, here's a tip. When you have an invention that could possibly destroy the world, you might want to keep a stronger eye on the thing. Just a thought. Bubsy decides that he wants to be a hero. More stock footage, catchphrase, and he gets run over because dumbass McGee was stupid enough to stand on a coaster track for 5 minutes. Then the roller coaster goes through a wormhole, which I'm assuming is more stock footage of some kind, while the two minions make vomiting noises in the background. After a while, Bubsy demands that the buzzard surrender. Then the niece and nephew pleading boredom make the coaster even more wild. At Bubsy's scolding, they stop the roller coaster, thrusting everyone but them off.
They should have worn their seatbelts!
Yes, an accolade should have learned how to make cartoons before trying to make cartoons. We all do stupid shit that results in unfathomable disasters. Suddenly, the niece and nephew are huge, and they step on Bubsy by accident. Unfortunately, it does not kill him. When they go down to normal size, Bubsy scolds them, and then they cry that it's their birthday. Oh, so this cartoon is trying to teach Bubsy a lesson, showing him that he should never have forgotten their birthday. Actually, no. Bubsy is never put at fault for forgetting about the twins' birthday. Instead, the episode remembers that it has the two dumbasses, and uses them. The buzzard drops the shrew, and he takes the helmet. Bubsy trades him for a corn dog. Yes, it has a fuse in it. It explodes the buzzard and the shrew into Bubsy, and they fly off with the helmet and the twins. They bring it to their master, and she starts using the helmet to pad out the episode's length, while the buzzard and the shrew drag the niece and nephew away to cook them. Back to Bubsy moping over the fact that he lost the twins and the helmet.
Your truck fell from the sky.
Get a grip, Arnie.
Oh, so they didn't forget that plot point. Question, if a truck fell from the sky and hit you square in the head, then why do you still have two atoms together? Oh yeah, so Bubsy can abuse the poor fellow some more. That's not funny, you sick fucks! Virgil gives Bubsy a reality-changing helmet tracking device, but Bubsy doesn't want to use it. Instead, he looks for their number in the phone book and uses it to call the shrew. Bubsy gets him to give their address by convincing him that he's bringing food. Wow. This has to be a record. One episode, and this is pretty much the most formulaic show I've ever seen. Each episode, Buzzard and Shrew try to get the kids or foil Bubsy's plans. Bubsy tears their plan apart by bribing the shrew with food. The villain claims that the helmet is making her angry because it's giving her helmet hair. Unfortunately, the Buzzard and the shrew have worse news.
Sid here told that idiot Bobcat.
What Bobcat? You never told her anything about that Bobcat. You gave her that helmet, and you hurried away to cook the kids. Besides that, the villain has a plan to not answer the door. It's genius! That plan is so foolproof that I'm forced to wonder how the writers are going to have Bubsy thwart it. Wait, the answer is simple. Just use that genius formula! Bubsy claims that he brought the food, and the shrew runs to open the door. Yes, the show got even more formulaic. I don't even know how the hell that's possible. Bubsy threatens to take the helmet back, and the villain scratches her nails on the chalkboard again, this time for no reason. And yes, it's just as grating as before. The helmet gets knocked out of the villain's hands, and everyone wrestles over it. Hardy har har, shenanigans with everyone fighting over the helmet. We even get the truck gag again. It all ends with Bubsy getting the helmet. Unfortunately, the helmet is overloading, which means that it's going to blow up on his head. Please kill him. Please do the world a favor. Kill him. Kill him. Kill him. Please kill him. Kill him. Kill him! No, Bubsy gets all of the bad guys tied up and takes the helmet off before it breaks. More stock footage.
About you, Arnold, but the thought of our next adventure already has me tingling with excitement!
His next adventure was in Bubsy 3D, considered by many to be one of the worst video games ever made. This adventure, however, ends with him putting the helmet back on and getting electrocuted. Of course, he hugs Arnold to get him electrocuted as well. I'm forced to assume that that killed them both because this is the only episode of Bubsy, and thank God for that. So far I've done disgusting bad, and I've done insulting bad, and now I guess I can scratch annoying bad off my list. All I could say is that this was 22 minutes of pure, unadulterated annoyance. If I ever have to hear that god-awful annoying voice again, I feel like I'm going to have to shoot myself. There is nothing redeemable to this idea, as copy-paste garbage from garbage, which I may have to take on at some point. Yeah, this definitely won't be the last video game adapted show you'll see on here. Unfortunately, this series isn't designed to take on an entire show with just one episode, unless that show happens to be one episode long like good old Bubsy here. Of course, there is plenty of other trash I'm going to have to deal with, and because I'm absolutely psychotic, not only am I going to be trying to do one of these a week during the pony hiatus, but I'm also taking requests. Yep, just tell me the terrible episode from whatever cartoon or terrible animated movie you want me to tackle. Just keep it safe for work. I'm not taking on Fritz the Cat here or Salad Fingers. If I'd have to pose a limit, it'd be at PG-14. And remember, even good shows can have terrible episodes. Just give me your request, and I'll add it to the list.
What could possibly go wrong?